Right club! 100,000 years ago, our ancestors lived on the plains of Africa. They lived naked on the plains. Individually, they were unable to defend themselves from the saber-toothed tigers and other wild animals. They found that only by working together could they survive and eke out a living. Then, about 10,000 years ago, people began to grow crops. They settled down in villages, and they continued to work together to defend themselves. Then, about 4,000 years ago, farmers in Mesopotamia were able to raise a surplus of crops. They needed a way to defend this surplus, so they created the first state, the Kingdom of Sumer. As my college archaeology professor liked to put it, for the first time in tens of thousands of years of human existence, people were now being governed by strangers. And so it is today. We rely on strangers to protect us. The police, the military. We rely upon the kindness of strangers. Years ago, I was living in Boston. For a time, I lived in a neighborhood called Dorchester. In Norman Mailer's novel, The Naked and Dead, there's a passage in which he describes Dorchester, and he gets it exactly right. I will tell you a story that sums up my experience in Dorchester. I was eating in a restaurant one day, and as I was about to bite into my meal, I heard a woman at another table say to someone, "Oh my God, it's 7 inches long and it's hanging out of your nose." That's not the story I want to tell. This is the story I want to tell you. I was sharing an apartment in Dorchester with 2 other guys. That's funny? Okay. I was sharing an apartment with 2 other guys. One of them was named Fred. I could tell you all sorts of stories about Fred, but I'm not going to go there tonight. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story that involves my other roommate, whose name was Mohammed, and who was from someplace in the West Indies. And that's about all I know about him. He was a very quiet and reserved person, and he mostly kept to himself. However, Mohammed had a girlfriend named Carol. Unlike Mohammed, Carol was talkative and outgoing. She would come over to the apartment a lot, and she would sometimes talk to Fred and me. She'd be quite funny. I remember that I liked her. One night, I was going out. I closed the door to my bedroom, and then when I turned around, I saw Carol sitting on a sofa in the vestibule. I thought this was a little odd, so since I knew Mohammed wasn't home because there was no light underneath his door, how she got in the apartment, I don't know. Maybe Mohammed had given her a key. She said to me, "Are you going out?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Can you give me a ride?" I wasn't in a hurry, so I said yes. We got in my car, which was parked in the street outside. We were driving down the street, chatting, when the 2 of us fell silent for a moment. Then Carol turned to me and she said in a quiet voice, "I'll give you a blowjob for $20. I almost drove onto the sidewalk. Carol put her arm on my hand, hand on my arm, and she said in a calming tone of voice, "It's all right. It's okay. It's all right." Carol gave me directions the way she was going. We entered this area of Boston that I'd never been in before. It was really run down. There were boarded up storefronts everywhere. Then Carol told me to pull over. I pulled up alongside an abandoned lot. And there were all these women standing around in this lot. There must have been at least a couple dozen women standing there. And then I noticed in the exact center of the lot, there was a man standing there. There was just one man standing in the center of all these women. Carol turned to me and she said, "Wait here." She then got out of the car and walked over to this one man who was standing in the center of the lot. Now, I could have driven off at this point, but I didn't. Something inside me told me I should stay. Carol started talking with this man. I can't remember how long they talked. I seem to have lost all sense of time at this point. Then I noticed that they were arguing. They were both gesturing wildly. Then suddenly Carol turned and started running towards the car. As she did so, some of the women started running after her. She came up the car, opened the door, got in, and slammed the door behind her. Suddenly, my car was surrounded by all these women. They were screaming and yelling, and they were pounding their fists on the windows and on the windshield. Carol yelled at me, "Go, go, go!" I started the engine. I put my foot on the gas pedal. Suddenly, he pulled free of all these women. I saw a few of them run after us in the rearview mirror, shaking their fists in the air. I don't remember much else about that night. I know that I dropped Carol off somewhere, but I can't remember where. Not long after that, I moved out of that apartment. Not because of that incident, but because my roommate Fred was driving me crazy. But that's another story. So it seems I may have saved someone's life that night. Someone I hardly knew. I can only hope that if I'm ever in trouble, someone I don't know will be willing to protect me. I can only hope. Thank you.